What's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of Snaps. I hope everybody is enjoying a nice Christmas day, a nice Christmas season day. It is December 10th, 2024. I'm T. Baber. Hold on real quick, guys. Got to share this post real quick. There we go. What's going on, man? I hope everybody's having a good time. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay, we'll get to Scott's comments that have been going on in the pre-show here in a second. We do have to address the live. I'm kind of realizing I had like nothing ready to go. I spent all my time today doing graphic design. Oh, and look at my phone. See, I'm not at home and I don't have my Christmas hat. I'm so pissed off right now. You look absolutely wonderful for our Christmas crossover episode. Like old TV specials used to love to do that when you have everybody in the network. Well, we have our good friend SEC Mike from that SEC podcast back with us once again. Holidays are in the air. Mike, what's up, brother?
Hey, sorry I'm running late. I was trying to find this damn hat, but I found it.
You found it. Oh, bro, you're not running late at all. Come whenever you want. So we may have breaking news here at the top of the show, Mike. Have you got any notification about this Belichick thing? So a guy named Ollie Connolly, who's a writer for The Guardian, okay? Used to be an NFL college football scout, recruiting analyst, covers football. Let me bring it up, X. Let me just share it real quick so we can all look at it together.
I will say this, not to call him out.
Yeah.
I used to work with him.
With Ollie?
I think he's based out of like London or something. So I don't know. I don't know how legit that is, to be honest with you.
Really? So what a perfect guest to have on for this. So you actually know Ollie. Like you worked with him in what capacity?
I used to work for a website, Saturday Down South, and he worked there. So we had some communications and
doesn't sound like you went well, Mike.
I thought he did a good job. But again, to my knowledge, he's based out of like London or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
he does work for The Guardian, so that would make sense.
Would that news leak to London I don't know, but who knows? Maybe he's good friends with Belichick or something.
So we'll see. Ollie tweeting, update. Belichick has agreed to become the next UNC head coach. Belichick, here we go. Belichick handed the school a 400-page organizational Bible with structure, payment plan, staffing choices, decisions on whether to commit with UNC. He is expected to know their decision within 24 hours. Okay. Belichick's Bible would require historic levels of investment from the school, including salary minimum, positions by position, a willingness to hire two staffs, a coaching staff run by Belichick, and a recruiting staff run by a sitting college GM who would require a buyout. Belichick has a college of provision of his updated manual and has shared it with other schools and NFL teams, but he drafted a new one specific to UNC, blah, 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 has to be signed up. There's been pushback from the group of 13 trustees with input from the wider facility. Okay, so not official as of yet.
I like how he says it's official. 24 hours, he'll know.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I'm confused here. Let's see. Where was the original tweet that I saw?
And the old adage, T-Bob, I'm sure you've heard this. The audience has heard this a million times. Nobody's offered the job until they actually have to hand an offer, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm unaware of a coach saying, "Hey, I'll take the job," and then they're like, "Well, let's see if we offer it to you." That, to my knowledge, it's never happened.
Yes, So to one thing, yes, nobody is offered a job, but also a lot of times people are, even if they officially aren't. Like that,
of course.
Both ways, right? Like the other thing where the school's like, no, we didn't get said no to. We actually never officially extended an offer.
Right.
Okay, so never mind. I misheard that. I apologize, y'all.
We could call that the Mark Poops. He did accept before, I guess it was officially offered.
Are we talking about the A&M job?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so then this is Belichick's Mark Poops term. As according to Ollie, he has accepted the UNC job that may or may not have actually been offered. That is interesting. That'll show you, and UNC has money, and they're willing to spend. That'll show you how serious they are about trying to win in football.
Yeah.
They agree to such a heavy lift.
Did you catch any of not to plug another show while we're here, but did you catch any of his McAfee interview yesterday?
I just saw one clip in an Athletic article where he basically said, we would be a program developing guys for the NFL, which is kind of like, well, yeah, that's what everybody wants to say, but I guess it goes further with him, given that, he knows everything about the NFL.
Right. And again, the $1 million question, everybody's got it. Why the hell would this legend, arguably, I don't even know if arguably is the right word, but the best coach in NFL history at this age, why would he come to college? And he just made an excellent point that the college game is becoming more like the NFL with the player personnel, with the GM, with a cap and things of that nature. So things I had not considered make a lot of sense, but there was one part where it was totally off the rails, and this told me he does not know what he's getting into. They asked him about recruiting, and he just said, well, this is going to be run like an NFL franchise. I can get you to the NFL. We're going to get guys that want to get developed, want to come here, and that sounds fantastic. But there's not a damn elite player that's going to go, wow, I'm going to sign up with Bill Belichick because I can get developed when South Carolina gives you $1 million. They're going to go to South Carolina that's the way it is now.
But that does come with the caveat. I mean, so I'm actually going to interpret that a little bit differently, though. Though I agree with you, right? Like, I don't know if Bill Belichick's ready to. I don't know if he's ready to get on his knees for those teens, right? Like, because he's now. Okay, one thing that would appeal to Belichick about college is he's a control freak. Okay, right? College can still be the land of the control freak. It seems like that age is kind of done in the NFL a bit right now. College, you can still be the dictator of your program. Yeah, one thing that would work against him is, in the NFL, even from draft, whatever, it was Bill's way or the highway, right? At least in college, you do have to suck up to those teen boys for a bit at the beginning. But I actually think the NIL era helps him, Mike, because he can just pitch money, So
do they have money? I don't know.
Well, that remains to be seen if they go along with his manifesto or not. Not to be confused with Luigi's manifesto. But
I was thinking about this. This is off the wall. That I don't think he would ever agree to this. But if I'm pitching Belichick, he's going to demand, I want to be the highest paid, all this. Dabo's making like $10 million, so he's probably going to want something similar.
Do you think he'll want to be the highest paid?
Well, I just think because my understanding is NFL coaches make significantly more.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in college.
It's reported that he was making $20 million a year.
Right. So is he going to accept $3-4 million to coach in North Carolina? I would think not. I mean, that's a low ball figure. But my point being is, what I would pitch to him, and the only way I think I would be able to sell this is you have no history in college. This is a complete gamble. Let's give you a low figure, something like, not trying to be totally disrespectful, like $5 million.
$5 to $6 million. Mac Brown was making like $5 million, right?
But let's write this into your contract. You win the ACC, $10 million. You win the national championship, $20 million. like something insane.
Yeah.
That he's probably not going to reach it, but it's a complete gamble on himself. And if he's as good as he thinks he is, he's going to get that money. And if not that North Carolina will ever win the national championship in college football, but if they do it, he's worth every damn penny they'd give him.
Well, and like if I'm Belichick, I'm probably saying, okay, look, well, I'm not saying probably, I don't want to speak for him. Depends on what he wants to do. But maybe there's a world out there where he's like, look, I'll take a little bit less salary, but I need that organizational investment. Like Ollie's purporting here, right? That that it would have to have this two staffs, your coaching staff, your GM staff, everything else. This maybe feels like a little much for Molly. This is from December 6th. Per sources, I'm told Bill Belichick's negotiations with North Carolina include a guarantee that Stephen Belichick will be named the school's head coach in waiting. UNC is open to that guarantee. Now, that's extreme, but that could be a reason that you could say he would want to go to the college game. to kind of really set up his son, who's already set up pretty well. I mean, DC at Washington, they were fine this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And look, Chad's doing a good job of pointing that, to be frank, Bill Belichick is getting on his knees for a 24-year-old. So it's not that much different to do it for these high school boys.
Right. Let's see if he starts demanding she gets the job too. Then I may be out on this thing. We're not bringing the whole family, you know.
Okay, look, I hope everybody's having a great day today. We're gonna have a fun show today. We'll talk to Mike about whether or not he thinks the committee got it right. We'll do our SEC nice and naughty list. I ended up spending all of my prep time working on my graphic design. Mike, as you can see, here it is. Graphic design is a bit of a passion of mine. So we'll put which teams are naughty and nice post football season here. And then maybe if we have time, I want to put together a 12-team Christmas movie bracket. I'm stealing this from J.D. Pickell. I saw him talking about it. I have no faith that Pickell can get it right because he's too smart. Ivy League guy. If you're
Super
that
nice
smart,
guy too, nicest guy in the media.
Super nice, Ivy League. But if you're that smart, you either kill the CEO of a major health insurance company, or you're just a bit too highbrow to enjoy Christmas movies. Okay, I'm just kidding. We love JD.
I agree. There's no way that man's ever tasted an edible.
No, exactly. All right, let's. Oh, and real quick, because I said we would talk about, I'll mention it real quick. So before the show started, our one of our favorite members of the community, Scott, said, "I've been sleep eating. My wife caught me naked in the kitchen last night eating slices of cheese, and I don't remember doing it." Now, this is the same man. He's a big man, Mike. He's about 6'7", 6'8", something like that. This is the same man that the other day said he had 24 hot pork tamales for breakfast. Which, have you ever had tamales, Mike?
Of course. Delicious.
I mean, fucking delicious, right? But 24 for breakfast sounds like your asshole would be bleeding by 11:30 a.m. Have you ever sleep eaten, Mike?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think that's something I've ever done.
I don't think I ever have either. Look, look, just make sure. I don't think you're supposed to wake and sleep while I don't have to know if that's true or not. Actually, you know what? All I care about, make sure you're eating good cheese. I too was someone who used to like Kraft singles for a while and always thought I liked them. But then, you get some real American cheese and Kraft singles fucking suck. So as long as you're not sneaking into the fridge and eating Kraft singles, I think you're going to be good to go.
I have real quick though, cousin Shane, my co-host, when he was, I don't think he does it anymore, but he used to sleepwalk and they found him when he was a teenager down the road. Somehow he got out the house. True story.
Oh my God, dude.
And he was
that's
asleep.
Scary. That's actually scary. That's like when you wake up after blacking out and there's me like, oh my God, I hope I didn't do any crimes or anything last night.
Oh yeah.
Blacking out's always all fun and games until you do some really dumb shit. Which I've been there. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And then you wake up and you're terrified that, did I ruin my life last night? No, I'm okay. Okay, good.
Have you ever woken up with scars? You don't know how you got them?
No. Have you?
Many times.
They'd already scarred? Like you were asleep for months and weeks and you'd already been cut and hit out.
All right. Yeah. Maybe that's a leap too far. Like open wounds that become scars. That's happened a couple times to me.
No, the closest in college for Halloween one time, I was, I don't know if I've ever told this story publicly. I was hanging out with Adam from Workaholics. This is when we were kicking ass, 2011. We're undefeated. It's Halloween. So the LSU brand was super hot. He was in town filming Pitch Perfect. And I know before it ever come out, right? We had no idea what a hit we had in our hands. And he was trying to hook up with this bartender that worked at a bar across from my apartment. I used to hang out there all the time. So at this time, I'm fucking obsessed with Workaholics, right? And so like we're getting a drink together. And so I start going hard, trying to be cool, right? Like chugging pitcher stuff. And I'm dressed up in cut off jean shorts like Daisy Dukes. I have a mullet on. I've got fake barbed wire tattoos, sleeveless shirt, really setting the Halloween mood. And, well, I just drank too much. Now, thankfully, Adam left to go do whatever he did, but then I did not leave. And, next thing you know, I'm in the kitchen of this place. I guess I'm trying to pee in the ice box for some reason. The manager tries to say something. I'm not a fighter at all. They said I like grabbed him by the throat and like was like attacking. So then they bring me outside. Now, thankfully, they don't call the cops, right? Because this was the bye week of the 2011 season. It's going to have been an absolute disaster. They don't call the cops. They just take me outside and they beat the shit out of me. I mean, throw me on the ground and just fucking give it to me. And then I get up all mad. I punch a couple dents in somebody's car, ended up paying them. It was just a very bad night. Very bad night.
Are you still a fan of Workaholics after this experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
It's completely on me for just getting way too drunk and being way too irresponsible.
It's funny you say that, though, because I know Kyle from Workaholics. I don't know if
you know way.
Kyle Newacek. He was a teacher at a school that I went to, a film school.
What?
And I don't know if you ever heard of this.
Right? He's Carl, the drug dealer, right?
Right. He had the grape van. I wouldn't say the R word. I think they could take you off YouTube for that. But they had another show. I don't know if you're aware of it. I briefly, very briefly, I can't say I even worked on it, even though I kind of did just a little. But if you want to go down memory lane, this is before Workaholics. They had another show. It was called Crossbows and Mustaches.
No, dude, and I've never seen this before.
It's pretty funny. It's not as good as Workaholics, but it was the thing they did right before they broke out.
Wow. Oh my. I mean, Workaholics, dude, super underrated show.
Yeah.
Really one of the tales of our time. If you're our age, like that's like that was what it was transcendent in my opinion. So whatever, also that ends well, I got up the next day. I slowly but surely pieced together my wrongdoings. I went and apologized to the manager. I apologized to my friends that apparently I attacked. I apologized. I tracked down the person whose car I didn't, and I paid them back for fixing the car and apologized to them. So, but after that, no, I mean, that was a low moment.
Well, good on you for making amends.
Tried to, dude. Tried to at least. Didn't need to probably tell that story public, but here we go. All right, Mike. Before we dive into our SEC naughty and nice list, your name's SEC Mike, right? You host that SEC podcast,
right?
Were you a little upset? Were you a little upset that Alabama didn't get in? Were you a little upset? What'd you think? Did the committee get it right?
Yes and no. And I did a live reaction where you can find my reaction on the internet. Not surprised at all that Alabama did not get in. I don't think Alabama deserved to get in. I don't know why this is such an unpopular take, but I think the team that should have got in was South Carolina. And I realize they lost to Alabama. Yeah. They lost to Ole Miss. So if that's all that if that's all that matters head to head, okay. I mean, hell, they beat Clemson at Clemson and Clemson's in. So, I could spin it that way, but there was only one team that was red hot at the tail end of the season that had multiple road victories, including against ranked opponents, and that was South Carolina. I think they got better and better as the season went on, and I know you ain't going to agree with this, you ain't going to like this, but since the moment it happened, I said that LSU, that was a travesty. That the refs fucked South Carolina. I don't even consider that a loss, so I would have just used that as my justification. And hell, Leroy Sellers, banged up.
Ward Manuel's like, guys, stick with us. It is the committee's belief that the refs fucked South Carolina.
So if you, however you want to shape the narrative, it should have been South Carolina, I think, of those three. But no, at the end of the day, we're sitting here, we're bitching about the 13, 14, 15 type team. Aside from maybe South Carolina, I don't think any of those teams we're going to win the national championship, and I'm not broken up about none of them getting into the playoff field. I'm really not.
No, I mean, look, that's one of the great parts about the 12-team playoff. Unlike the 4-team, whoever gets left out, you kind of don't care about that much because whatever. Like you had a chance, right? Like we're putting you in at that point. When it's 4 teams, you feel like you're keeping people out. And when it's that, then you get like a Florida State, and that's a bit disastrous, blah, 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 whatever.
Now, I will add this. I was at the you weren't down there in Atlanta for the championship game, were you?
No.
I was down there and I talked to people and they told me, watch, if Alabama doesn't get in, they're going to use this for justification to change the format. And I don't know exactly what that means? I don't think anybody. Is that going to be 12? We're just going to take the 12 best and reseed them, and maybe have some automatic qualifiers, but do not lock them into slots. I think that would be a right way to do it. Or does it mean we're going to 14? Does that mean we're going to 16? I don't know. But Greg Sankey is the most powerful man in this damn sport. So I don't think he's happy. And I would just warn everybody. I think the format's changing in some degree.
Well, okay. So I would say two things. First off, I love automatic qualifiers. I can definitely, even though I like this bracket, I definitely understand the no auto seeding thing. Like that does make some sense, it feels like, in retrospect. So I can see that overchange. But we got to remember, even before this season started, Mike, there was a lot of reports that a 14-team playoff was almost being kind of generally accepted already. So if it does end up happening, I don't want to completely paint it as Alabama didn't get in, this is a reaction, because we talked about this during the summer, multiple times during the fall, that as quick as next year, we could have a 14-team playoff. Yeah. And there's, is this true? This super chat that just came in? $2. So whatever. So we'll see what happens there. S Opposite says, what's up with Ryan Williams hitting the portal?
I'm looking at it now. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. Let's did you see, do you follow Tattoo Baker on Twitter?
I don't believe so. Oh, wait. Oh, I see here. It's one of these fake ass accounts.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the new soup du jour during this transfer portal era this year. Seems to be fake transfer portal announcements. Like that's exactly what the guy I was just talking about, Tattoo Baker, yesterday made a great graphic and said Lenora Sellers entering the transfer portal, and then was just tweeting all the South Carolina folks melting down. So Ryan Williams not.
Hey, do you have the ability to throw up comments on the screen?
Yeah.
I think this guy found me through your show. He starts watching mine now. His name's Bill Valentine. It says SEC Mike with a stupid ass.
Yeah, I saw that.
Can you throw that up there? Because we want to thank you, Bill. He's a big Alabama fan, so I just want Bill. I got to ask him a question. Hopefully, he'll respond. He's kind of gutless. He kind of shows up when Alabama's winning. He disappears when they lose. I'm just curious what it's like to get passed over by the Cheez-It Bowl in favor of South Carolina, Bill. I wonder if you're too gutless to answer that. But that's life of an Alabama fan.
I'll say this. When the gaze of Prince Chedward falls upon thee, it's an incredible feeling. It's an incredible feeling, one that Alabama would know nothing about. For Chedward looked at them and found them lacking. Glory be to our Prince of Snacks, Prince Chedward. We still haven't done an overall like bowl. We need to go through the bowl sometime on here. We haven't done it yet. All right, let's go ahead then. So okay, yeah. So we're in the here's one thing that I think is food for thought, Mike. We talk about strength of schedule. I think we need to also factor in, and I feel like they kind of did this, but nobody framed it this way, relative strength of schedule. In that, not that this is, again, this is not saying this is the way to do it, but it could be a piece in decision-making pie. Mm-hmm. How were you kind of viewed relative to who you played? Because for me, Arizona State season, much more impressive than that of Alabama, even though they played worse teams. Why? Because they were consistently the underdog, consistently punching up. Alabama on every Saturday was the favorite. Save for the Georgia game? And so if you lose 3 games when you're supposed to win every single one, I think you should be dinged a bit for that. And honestly, look, to me, that's why I think the committee nailed it. They put them over Miami. So they're telling you, okay, but your strength schedule does make up for at least 1 loss. But with SMU, a team that overachieved while you underachieved, your 3 losses, you can't make up for 2 of them. Just some food for thought.
Yeah. And the only other thing, obviously the seeding, the buys, I think it's ridiculous. We need to adjust all that, even if we don't expand the format. The fact that, I know you just sung their praises, but Boise and Arizona State get buys while Texas doesn't. I think that's ridiculous. I also would say that Notre Dame and Indiana, again, I know you've put Indiana's cock in your mouth all season long, but to just put them in because they have a lot of wins, that's fine if we're going to do that, but they should not be given the benefit of the doubt, and not even Notre Dame, based on who they have played, why they are automatically a top what are they, like 5 or 6 or whatever? Like that to me is ridiculous. I don't think just because you got 11 wins that you should be up there.
Indiana, Mike, 9-3 against the spread this year. Suck it, you fucking nerd. They didn't just beat teams, they beat the shit out of teams.
Did they beat any good Big Ten teams?
Look, they played in the Big Ten, and everyone they faced, they beat the hell out of. They beat them worse than Ohio State beat them.
I mean, look at their schedule and then look at Purdue's.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean because Indiana's about to preview. Mike, what are you going to do in Indiana beats Georgia? Carson Beckless and Thorsonless Georgia. By the way, can we talk about how disastrous the SEC championship game was for Georgia? Yes, you get a bye, but you break Carson Beck's UCL and you lose your Ray Guy finalist punter for the year. That is the punter, especially in close games, playoff games, especially the style that Georgia plays this year where field position could be absolutely massive. That is a huge loss.
I got a hot take for you.
Yeah, give me it.
Georgia's better with Gunnar Stockton.
Here we fucking go.
And no, check this. This is legit. This is legit. People in the know were telling me down in Atlanta. Here's a crazy stat. Georgia's undefeated since women basketball started. Do you know why that's paramount?
Because Carson Beck's girlfriend plays on the women's team?
Right. And it's
he does.
Yeah, she's one of those what are they called? Cavender twins or what? Like their smoke shows on Instagram. But there was a lot of discussion in Athens that she was too involved with his life, essentially, which again, they're undefeated since women's basketball started. So that distraction went away. He was playing a lot better down the stretch. But give me Gunnar Stockton, man. Give me a running quarterback.
How in the fucking 10 out of 10. World you say give me Gunnar Stockton? But we haven't seen Gunnar Stockton even play.
He's a mini Tebow. I'm telling you. Give me Gunnar. Gunnar's they're gonna win the national championship with Gunnar, and you're gonna have to eat these damn words.
Do you realize what Kamara and Signetti and Rourke are gonna do to Georgia if they get past Notre Dame? It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly. I think it's fucking crazy to say that Gunnar Stockton's just going to be better than Carson Beck. But I do like the heat of the take. I could warm myself by that take I might roast s'mores over that take after I watch Skeleton Crew with the kids tonight. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. And Mike, by the way, are you good to stay for a bit? I'm sorry. I know I will do whatever you need. A little home and home, whatever you want. I got you, man. You know, I love you. Here it is. Your SEC or Santa's SEC naughty and nice list. We're going to go team by team, Mike, and decide who's getting coal and who's getting presents this Christmas season. Would you like to? Well, maybe we start with the obvious. And who do you think the naughtiest team in the SEC was this year? There's really only one answer.
Well, it's /team. If I can go coach.
Or should we do coach? Oh, let's do coach because they're essentially the same thing. So let's do coach because it makes more sense for the Santa theme.
Hugh Freeze.
Ooh, on the first one over Mark Poops?
Yes.
I mean, both up there. They're both in there. Okay, let's say. Okay, I'll write it down. Here we go. Okay, why Hugh Freeze, Mike?
I mean, how can there be any other? I mean, just one blown game after another. I mean, hell, Cal at home, Arkansas at home. Oh, how they lost that Oklahoma game, I will literally never figure out how that happened.
They blew that.
They lost to Missouri. They sent Missouri's starting quarterback to the hospital and still lost as that man returned to the field from the hospital. And again, this was allegedly, I was told, a team on the rise. They were just so awful. And yeah, they did beat Kentucky. Kentucky did quit. You could certainly make the case for Stoops in Kentucky, but give me Hugh Freeze for throwing everybody and their mother under the bus all season long. At least Mark Stoops is man enough to own up on a lot of this, and he's the one. The reason Ole Miss is not in the college football playoff is old Mark Poops. So at least he accomplished something this year. You know what?
Hey, Hugh Freeze beat A&M. Okay, they both have shitty, kind of irrelevant wins. That felt good for them at the time. No, okay. Fair that maybe okay, but at least Hugh Freeze still has Cam Coleman and Crandre Lambert Smith, like and the seventh best recruiting class in the country. Like if Hugh Freeze gets a quarterback, now I find it very hard to trust Hugh Freeze. For what it's worth, in my personal life, he has actually always been like incredibly gracious to me, for whatever that's worth, right? He recruited me out of high school. He's been very cool to me, so I feel bad the amount of shit that I talk about him nowadays. But it is hard to trust him, right? Yeah. Like without a doubt, it's hard to take him at face value when he does stuff. That said, there's no way that you think that Auburn's in a worse spot than Kentucky right now.
Oh, no. Kentucky's a damn dumpster fire. And Mark Stoops has got a $44 million buyout. He's not walking out that door for a cent less. And the way I've been told, T-Bob, he's not, the AD there is not willing to pay him a cent to go away. So, I mean, this is like, and they do not have a good relationship. So I don't know what the resolution is here, but I think this is only going to get worse.
It's toxic. All that talk of Kentucky being a football school seems to have fizzled a bit. Okay, let's do one on the nice side of the ledger then. I would like to nominate Clark Lee, because of course, why not? Giving Vanderbilt their first ever top 5 win, the biggest win in school history. What if Vandy ended up finishing 6-6?
6-6 with a bowl game though. They could have a winning record here.
Yep. I mean, God, you look back at that Georgia State game, they really let that one slip through. But yeah, man, Clark Lee, Diego Pavia, bringing some juice to Vanderbilt, storming the field, putting the goalposts in the river. Clark Lee, you're on the nice list. What about you, Mike?
You've got to post this graphic as soon as we're done here.
It's an incredible graphic, of course.
It's so great. But yeah,
it's my passion.
I know this shouldn't technically fit into this list that we're doing, but just behind the scenes, Clark Lee's one of the nicest guys. He's a Vanderbilt man through and through. We all remember, I would hope, what a shit show that institution, that football program was when he took it over. So to see him kind of come out the other side has been fantastic. I love that, bringing in the New Mexico State crew. I think a lot of coaches got an ego, wouldn't have done that. T-Bob, I really do.
True. Actually, very true.
So, it's all coming up, aces. And as soon as they beat Alabama, it really didn't matter what they did the rest of the year, but it was icing on the cake that they put the nail in the coffin in Hugh Freeze, made sure he didn't go to the postseason. So they are the Alabama state champs. Clark Lee, love to see it.
True, dude. I forgot they're Alabama state champs. Have you ever noticed that Clark Lee and Eric Andre look very similar?
Yeah.
Look at this, dude. Look. Okay, so here's Clark, and here's Eric. Like that, bro. Come on now. Look at that facial profile. Basically the same person. Eric Andre is very funny. All right. Okay, we'll do another nice one to even out here. Without a doubt, Mike, as much as it fucking pains me to admit, we'll have to put on the man from South Dakota, the one with the lisp, your guy, Josh Heupel. How about it? The everything school. It used to be Tennessee was everything but a ring. And then you got a little lucky with Tony V and his tiny little PP. And now here you sit. Josh Heupel has y'all fat and happy Christmas Day, right around. I mean, Mike, you're living my dream. What day does Tennessee play?
I believe it's the 21st.
And what time?
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
Let me look. Because I want to set the mood here. So you'll be playing Ohio State, 7 p.m. Central, Saturday, December 1st. We're going to be in the final run up to Christmas.
Wait, no, December 1st.
Or sorry, December 21st, excuse me.
Yeah.
You're going to be in the final run up to Christmas. All the good vibes going to be peaking. You're going to be at your house. You're going to have the Christmas tree floating on the edge of your vision. You're going to have your favorite bourbon in hand, and you're going to be watching your Tennessee Volunteers battle in the first ever 12-team college football playoffs. Mike, could you have gotten a better Christmas present than that this season?
No, I don't think so. But I would disagree with you a little bit. I mean, again, maybe there's so many things to be thankful for. Maybe we shouldn't be picking apart these coaches and these programs, but I don't know how much of it is Josh Heupel and how much of it is the defense and the running game, which again, I mean, he oversees all of it.
I credit Heupel for that, though. The fact that he has a team winning with running the ball and defense, I think is a massive credit to him, because it shows that, he knows how to delegate and bring in talented people, but also it shows that he's not too proud to be like, we have to win this way. Like he said, no, we need to win this way.
Yeah, he certainly adjusted to the strengths of the football team, which again, a lot of coaches are unwilling to do things of that nature, but man, they cannot score on anybody, seemingly. At least not to the degree.
Okay, I see what's going on here. This is the classic. I love this thing so much that I'm terrified. Yeah, I get it. You're too close to the case.
I mean, if you look at the last 2 years, T-Bob, in the SEC, that would be 16 SEC games.
Yeah,
I think they've only scored 30 like 4 times.
So again, I kind of view this like I view Texas, right? Where obviously Texas' strength of the team is the defense. But if you're telling me that the weakness is a group led by Steve Sarkisian in Texas' case, or Josh Heupel in this case, he's going to get the offense figured out. And even if it's just for a Saturday, right? Like, I don't think that's an awful place to be as a Tennessee fan. Now, you're still missing Hendon Hooker. Without a doubt, right? Because Nico, in a lot of ways, has been like, I mean, has he actually been better than, why am I blanking? What's his name? Like, has Nico actually been better than Joe Milton, or is he just on a better team?
Yeah, they've been very similar, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's the key. I mean, Tennessee can legitimately, with this defense, with this running game, I think they can win the national championship. Now, I don't think they will, but I think if they can just manufacture some explosive passing plays, that's the missing piece to the whole thing to winning the whole damn thing and beating Ohio State, beating Oregon. They can beat any of these teams, but they've got to hit some deep shots. And more often than not, that's not been there this year.
Are you upset that Santa didn't bring you a home game? Because
of course, especially Ohio State just got their ass spanked. And,
I know.
And we go back to that's my whole complaint with Notre Dame and Indiana, all these teams. Like, okay, you want to put them in, fine. But just because they went 11-1 or whatever, and they played god-awful teams, I don't understand why they get rewarded. And, not that Tennessee had a gauntlet, but why doesn't Georgia get a home game? That's stupid to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm inclined to agree that it's kind of that's where it's weird that Ward Manuel's on there too, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you can't be and I know they hang their hat at the door, but that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. They physically hang their hat on the door, and what? They all of a sudden are just gone of the bias that affects all of us, like at a genetic level, whatever. All right. Ohio State did beat Penn State and Indiana. That is true. Those are a couple nice ones. All right. Who would you like to nominate next? Naughty or nice?
Man, I don't know if this is the rules or not, if we can kind of split it, but where would we put Billy Napier on here? Because I think he's half naughty. Nice. I think he's half nice. No.
Billy's nice. Billy is nice. For the context of us calling him Black Spot Billy, a walking dead man, Sunbelt Billy, all these nicknames, and to really have some disastrous moments like early on, but like even later, the Texas game, they kind of erased the memory of. Like getting blown out in the swamp comes to end in the heater that he did, where you're like, okay, wait, a couple massive wins down the stretch. Held Ole Miss out of the playoff, held LSU out of the SEC championship, and you have a quarterback, and you got money to spend, and you're landing. You flipped a bunch of recruits. You finished with a great class. Billy Napier, without a doubt, a very nice finish to the season, puts him on the nice list.
Is it possible that DJ Lagway is so good that they're overcoming Billy Napier?
No, because here's my opinion on that. Billy Napier had Graham Mertz playing pretty fucking good. You know?
Yeah,
And
but
Graham
he
Mertz
was a check down Charlie, whereas
yeah,
Lagway can
I
hit the
agree.
downfield shots, you know?
But that's a limitation of Mertz, not of Napier. So it's like, okay, if he had Graham Mertz, who is a check down Charlie, playing as well as he was, now you've given him somebody actually good. Like, I'd be super fucking pumped if I was a Gator fan right now, dude.
Yeah.
Against all odds, I'm excited for Billy Napier again. Maybe it blows up, but like, again, why would I want to spend $30 million switching coaching staffs when I could spend $15 million in the transfer portal? Just doesn't make any sense.
This is something I said on my show yesterday. It really seemed like Billy Napier was kind of like learning on the job, which is
true.
Which is not the expectation given his record at Louisiana.
Yeah.
But maybe he's come out the other side of that. And if he has, Florida's going to, I think they could be great next year.
It is scary how quickly they feel like they could be good with Lagway, and if Napier is that guy. All right. Okay, I'll offer you one that I think is a bit complicated. And that's Eli Drinkwitz. What do you think? And I know we all love Eli. Everybody loves Drink. He's like the nicest, like he's the most gracious sitting SEC coach, arguably.
I put him on the nice list.
Are we sure we're not being biased here? Because I know Eli is a big fan of that SEC podcast.
Right. And, you know, I have tore into Ole Miss because I think Ole Miss, I gave them an F grade on the season. They were knocking on the doorstep, but I think it was different. Now, because I did, as did Shane, we incredibly hyped up Missouri, and they failed to live up to that same billing. But Missouri didn't call it this the last dance.
True.
Missouri did not add a ton of free agents that are there to get them over the top. I mean, they did add guys. They did a hell of a job there, but I think injuries really derailed Missouri. And after getting their ass whooped by A&M and then getting completely blanked in Tuscaloosa when their quarterback went down, you know, I think a bad coach, I think a bad program would have sunk. Yeah, but they played their best football down the stretch. It's just a damn shame they couldn't do it a month earlier. Maybe they could have beat one of those teams. But again, quarterback got hurt. A lot of guys got hurt. I think Missouri's knocking on the door of winning 10 games, 21 games in 2 years at Missouri. That should be celebrated. I know they were trying to get to the playoff, and it felt like a huge disappointment that they didn't get there. But no, they're nice. I think that is a program on the rise.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, 9-3 should not be overlooked in Mizzou. Now, maybe my expectation was 10-2, but 9-3, undefeated at home, which the home crowd always loves.
Right.
And even outside of injury, Mike, to go 9-3 when really Luther Burden and Brady Cook didn't do shit is actually that's nice list material right there. All right. Let's nominate someone for the naughty list here.
What about Lane Whiffen?
Yeah. Last
you
dance.
Cannot come out and say, I don't want to play in the SEC championship and then shit the bed and lose to Florida.
True.
And not make the college football play. I mean, that was ridiculous. I actually appreciate the fact that he said it because he's speaking the truth. But you can't say that. You can't do the last dance. You can't say after the LSU loss, all of them, they said, we're in the playoffs now. And that I think helped them beat Georgia. I mean, not only beat you, they whooped the hell out of Georgia. But you can't keep saying we're in the playoff and then lose to Florida and then say, well, hell, we should still be in the real playoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they mismanaged the whole damn thing, and losing to Kentucky was disgraceful. Losing to LSU is not disgraceful, but they completely controlled that game up until the overtime period, seemingly. That was a disaster. This is a failure for me.
No, it is because, like you said, everything's a function of expectations on the naughty and nice list. And the expectations were higher. And in retrospect, like what I think would be most disappointing is when Ole Miss played to their full potential, they were truly a national championship caliber team. And so when you see a team as mercurial and inconsistent as they were, that is absolutely a reflection of the coach. So I agree with you there, because them against Georgia, them against South Carolina, like that's a team that could have beat anybody in this 12-team playoff. But what the fuck happened against Kentucky? What happened to LSU? What happened to Florida? Especially Florida with everything on the line, right? Like, yeah, I think you nailed it. All right. I got another naughty boy. Old Brent Venables. My God, what an awful time to be an Oklahoma fan. Not only did your arch rival Texas kick the shit out of you at the Triple R this year, it's your first year in the SEC, and they damn near won the SEC championship. You went 2-6 in conference, 6-6 overall. Last year, Dylan Gabriel was the best quarterback in the Big 12, hands down. Wasn't even close. Best numbers, smash Quinn Ewers, all that. You ran him out of town for Jackson Arnold, a player that you failed to find any success with, that you later benched, brought back, and who is now in the transfer portal himself. And what happened to Dylan Gabriel? He led Oregon to an undefeated season winner of the Big Ten. He's going to New York for the Heisman. He's now the NCAA all-time touchdowns leader, all-time starts leader. And Oklahoma, who had never had a losing season since 1998, I believe, has now had on the verge of 2 out of the last 3 years. I mean, what an absolute disaster it is in Norman right now.
Another guy that's got a $40+ million buyout.
Which is the worst part of that extension. The actual raise to $1 million, that was fine. You win 10 games, sure. But to bet buyout going to $44 million, they're going to look back and rue that.
Yeah, and I called it out at the time, T-Bob. You do not do that with someone that literally they were not going to. Who the hell was going to hire Brent Venables away from you?
Yeah, okay, that's actually a very good point. And to extend that point, like, it's not like he's one of these coaches that has a history to fall back on, you know?
Right.
There's nothing you can point back to, he'll bounce back.
Right. And a true evaluation of a head coach in major college football, in my opinion, cannot be done until he's on his second round of coordinators. So I really wanted to see how that would play out with 2 coordinators. Obviously, the offensive coordinator, complete bust, had to fire him mid-season. Defensive coordinator, we all know he's kind of the mastermind. So, again, I'm not saying it was a bad hire. I mean, that looks like a good hire, but man, why in the world they thought they needed to do that, and they used it as, this will help recruiting. If you need to extend your coach for recruiting, then you don't have the right guy anyway.
I've never thought about that. That's well said.
And someone said this is kind of mean, but again, not my words, but I can't unsee it. Every time I see the guy now, someone called him Skeletor. Yeah. Every time I see Venables, that's all I can see now. I don't think he's long for Oklahoma. I really don't, because again, I went there multiple times. I went the day they got into the SEC. I went for the Tennessee game. I love those fans. I love that place.
Yeah.
They demand. I've never seen anything like it, T-Bob. They got national championship statues. They got all the coaches, the Heismans. I mean, this is a place that demands excellence, and the defense is excellent, but that's literally the only thing I can point to. And it looks like Jackson Arnold is going to run down to Mississippi State to reconnect with Jeff Lebby. I think Lebby, not that he's doing
we'll get to Lebby in a second. One point on that I really thought was interesting is Aaron Murray called the Mississippi State game like middle of the year sometime. Mm-hmm. And you know how they meet with the coaches? He asked him, like, hey, like, what's going on with Jackson? And Lebby was basically like, I don't know. I thought he was fucking awesome. Like, Lebby definitely was a part of the, like, we don't really need Dylan. Like, Jackson could be better. So, and if you look at Lebby, like, I know they're 0-8, so let's talk Lebby, what we're going to do with him. But, like, him and Jackson Arnold teaming up, they're kind of perfect for each other right now.
And if you look the track record of quarterbacks Jeff Lebby has worked with, it's impressive. Jackson Dart, of course, Dylan Gabriel. I believe who's that guy, UCF, McKenzie, whatever.
Mackenzie Milton?
Yeah, I think he worked with him as well. Yep. He is on record saying Jackson Arnold is better than all of them. So, and he's got a promising quarterback in Michael Van Buren.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he's going to hit the portal now. So all of a sudden,
Arnold. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Why would Van Buren stick around?
I think Van Buren may be one of the more intriguing quarterbacks in the portal now, or was he just a product of Levy's system? That's going to be fun to see. Jackson Arnold, if he does go to Mississippi State, I think that's a great landing spot.
What do we do with Jeff Levy on this list? Can you be on the nice list if you go 0-8?
He's certainly not nice, but I don't think he's the problem. I think the defense was the problem down there in Mississippi State for sure.
I think just out of principle, I'm putting Jeff Levy on the naughty list, but I believe he'll be on the nice list next year. Like Hugh Freeze, maybe. Mark Poops, no. Kiffin, probably not. Venables, no. Levy, I believe in long term. I think he took over an awful situation.
Right.
But, I mean, do you agree? Can we go nice list if he's 0-8?
No. And again, here's another thing. When you are coming into this, I don't care who it is, and I know people look at like, they say, well, Kirby Smart did this. Well, he's a damn unicorn, and he took over a great situation. In the SEC, never would I hire a head coach that does not have head coaching experience, because this is just not a league to learn. I mean, Jeff Levy could be, for all I know, he could be one of the 10 best coaches in the country. But are we going to give him time to learn? I mean, I don't think he can. If he has another season like they just had, his ass is gone, even at Mississippi State. So
no, surely. I mean, 0-8, yes. 0-8, yeah, probably, right?
This is not a league to learn on the job, and they compounded it by hiring a defensive coordinator that's literally never been a defense coordinator, hired a special teams coordinator that's never been a special teams coordinator. I mean, it was just it seems like it was asinine. If you're going to go this route, surround him with veteran coordinators to at least assist him. So I don't know. I mean, that was totally bizarre. The route they've gone.
Well, that's on Levy, right? Because he's probably has a huge hand in those hires, so he has to do better.
I'm sure.
So you're naughty, Levy, but I like you. You big fucking concrete block of a man.
I like that you put Sark on the nice. That's right where I was going.
Nice list, right? Of course he's on the nice list. I know it sounds begrudging because it is a bit, because as a Louisiana native, I'm a bit jealous of Texas as a state. I think their shit doesn't stink, blah, blah, blah. I love the fact that Texas can't claim SEC champions, thank God. But without a doubt, a second uber successful year for Steve Sarkisian in a row. I got some questions about the offense. So it is kind of like your Josh Heupel thing here, where I credit to him for doing a great job of winning with running the ball and excellent defense and adjusting in that way. But I do wonder why they can't get more consistent production out of Quinn Ewers.
Yeah. And Quinn Ewers is, I think he'll be the classic case of, I think he's very good. I think he's solid. But wasn't he the guy that came out and he had like literally a perfect rating in the recruiting system? I mean, I don't think he was ever going to live. I mean, how could you? You know what I mean? So I think the hype just was a little off the rails, and there was no shot that he was ever going to live up to it, which kind of gives us, I mean, again, they just won 11 games, and we're sitting here like, is he really that good? You know what I mean? I think
I know.
That's a product of all that. So, and now they got Arch. So, good luck. The hype's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Because Arch is probably even more hyped. In fact, I know he is than Quinn Ewers. So if they can't get it rolling with Arch, we're going to have real problems on the offensive side of the football.
All right, Mike, I think it's time. You know who goes on the naughty list next, don't you?
Brian Kelly?
Yeah. Old crying Brian, slamming the table, water bottles bebopping all around for the USD game on. And it was a weird ass year, right? Where like beginning, absolute disaster, another opening season loss, but then there was a run. And then I don't know that I've ever seen a change in script like I saw out of LSU this year, where at halftime of the A&M game, LSU was a legitimate playoff team. Garrett Nussmeier was maybe the best quarterback in the entire country. And then holy fuck, everything blew up after that moment. And it got really bad before it ended okay.
Right. And, I would slightly disagree with you. Putting him on the naughty list. I mean, I'm fine because I think it's fun to troll his ass too. But I think I had you on my show a couple months ago leading up to that game. And I asked you if you were surprised that this is what LSU is, because I thought this was like a rebuild year. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what it played out that way.
I think that 9-3 was my expectation for this team. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, whether it's USC, Florida, whatever, going to 8-4 is where that's where it maybe crosses over into this year was a failure.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, but again, they just lost so much, and I don't care who they hired on the defensive side of the football on the coaching staff. They weren't just going to flip a switch and it be dominant. But about midway point in the season, it started to look like it was trending that way, and then it kind of, I don't want to say cratered, but it kind of regressed to where it was earlier in the season. So, there were signs on the defensive side of the football. You had to know the offense was going to take a step back. But I hate to agree with all these Notre Dame people, but I think it's starting to show itself that Brian Kelly is a good to very good coach.
Yeah.
I don't think he's elite, and I really don't like, and he's been doing this now for a year, where he's talking about paying players and the portal, and now he did it on signing day about why they're losing this guy.
I know, and it's like it's as they're flipping a kid from FSU just straight up with money. Like they're buying an offensive lineman from the SFG's class with money as they're bemoaning, like, we lost a couple guys because of money.
You can't be $100 million band and bitch about what this game has turned into.
No. I agree. I think I do think this. I'm going to be interested to see what LSU does in more investment. LSU only had $5 million on this year's roster.
It's fascinating you say that, because I did want to ask you, because you would know better than most, I would assume. But I talked to people in the know in Atlanta, and I said, man, you'd think LSU's got more money, and they said no. The money is not there for a lot for like to match Texas or Texas A&M, and
hell no.
Honestly, that kind of surprised me.
Well, you got to remember, Mike, we have a dog shit state economy.
Right.
We suffer from some of the highest rates of population drain, right? Brain drain, people leaving the state when they get done.
That's exactly what they said. People that get money leave.
Yeah, exactly. We suffer from but shout out my guy fucking Zuckerberg and Meta, okay? $2.5 billion data center about to open up in West Feliciana, baby.
There you go.
I want in my hopes and dreams, Louisiana becomes the forefront of hastening our enslavement to the AI robots. But we finally do something of note and kickstart the economy a little bit. But no, we're garbage state. I mean, us in Mississippi. I guess the difference is Ole Miss has like a bunch of rich boosters. I don't quite know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right. Next to this list, what do we do with our guy Sammy P?
He's my favorite SEC coach.
Yeah.
But it's looking like a big mistake to bring him back. Now again, it should be. I know this is impossible to do in today's society, but we really should wait to see who they add before we sell the program down the river. But they are losing guys left and right, and unless they add.
Did you see Lane Kiffin Lane Kiffin? You see Lane Kiffin retweet that guy who was like, "We're becoming a farm program for Ole Miss."
Right. No, I said it myself today. I said Sam Pittman and company are becoming a hell of a developmental program for Ole Miss. I mean, that's it. That's what it is. So, I mean, it's tough. I think they did an average job. I think they even exceeded expectations, but that's kind of sad. It just tells you where the expectations were coming into the year.
Yeah, because 3-5 in the SC. Do we?
The over/under was 5.5.
Then you know what? I don't think we put him on. I don't. You know what? No, I don't think we put him on the naughty list. What do you say?
I think that's fair. Now they're off to a naughty start to the offseason, but
I'm not saying that I have any belief that Sam Pittman will get it like figured out at Arkansas. But given what he was working with, given what he was up against this season, I don't think he did a very bad job.
And I can add to this too, T-Bob. I put this out this morning. I don't know if you saw it, but it's just a roundup of the number of players in the transfer portal from each SEC program.
Let me see.
I won't bore you with all of them, but just the three at the top. Mississippi State, 21 guys hit the portal yesterday. Arkansas, 20, and Kentucky, 19. So if I were to tell you, T-Bob, Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi State, what do they all have in common?
Wait, Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi State. They all have, I don't know.
Hope is not there. And the money is not there to retain these guys. And that's all the portal is. I'm seeing, these fan accounts are like, the culture's good at Carolina. Look at where we are on these lists. It's got nothing to do with it. It's money. It's money. People there's enthusiasm at Carolina. There's enthusiasm at Florida. They will pay players to stay, which is the right thing. But if you've got no hope, I mean, if you're a Kentucky fan, why are you giving? If you're an Arkansas fan, and Mississippi State, you're not giving it to pay players right now. And why should you?
It's a great point. It's a very good point. All right. Who have we not done? Mike Elko.
Elko?
I mean, it's so fucked up because it should be nice, but you're sitting here at 8-4 once again.
If you enter November and you're in the number one in the SEC and you don't make the playoff, you don't make the SEC championship. I mean, it was a collapse down the stretch, but I'm still pretty optimistic about the future.
Yeah,
of Texas A&M.
I'll go nice list,
but I thought you were going to go Beamer because I think Beamer is. I think he should be coach of the year.
Yeah,
I think he's done a hell of a job. And you got to remember how bad they were right out the gate against Old Dominion. I mean,
Aaron called that game and he thought they fucking sucked. He was like, this South Carolina team is hot garbage.
If not for those defensive ends that basically won them that football game, we had no idea how good they were that day. But that was the start of their terrorizing SEC offenses.
All right, so Mike Elko will go nice list because I believe in the culture, and I think like long term they're going to be good. Shane Beamer will go nice list because the reasons are obvious. He's probably coach of the year. The way that they finished, again, I'm sorry, Cock fans. I know the LSU game is going to live on and haunt you for years and years and years to come here. Who have we not done? I think we're missing one or two. Or is that it? We did Levy, we did Stoops, we did Breeze, we did Venables, we did Lee, we did Pittman, on Napier, on Kelly, on Elko and Drinkwitz, on Beamer, on Kiffin, on DeBoer, and Heupel. I don't know. Smart. So is DeBoer the last one?
Yeah, and I'd throw his ass on the naughty list.
Fucking right, he's going on the naughty list. And I like Caleb DeBoer, but sorry, hard to say this was anything but a failure for Alabama this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about teams blowing it? We're going to shit on Lane Kiffin for losing to Florida. It's funny, all my Alabama friends that listen to the pod are so sick of hearing this, but again, 21-point favorites, 21-point loss to Oklahoma with everything on the line. Failure.
Would have never happened under Saban.
I mean, right though, for real. Like that's the dragon that Kalen DeBoer has to fight and the beast that he has to tame.
It was I don't think he's gonna make it. I really don't. If he doesn't make the playoff next year, they'll fire his ass, as they should.
And then nice Kirby Smart, of course, because it's Kirby Smart and
King Kirby.
George is incredible. They overcame an incredibly tough schedule. It's so funny for all this talk of my schedule was so hard. My schedule was so hard. You know who had the fucking hardest? Georgia. And you know who won the SEC championship? Georgia. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Did you see Kirby call out Sankey to his damn face when they gave him the championship?
And the crazy thing is I thought it would get a laugh out of Sankey. Not at all. Like Sankey looked legitimately pissed.
Yeah.
Just like, fuck. Like, what the fuck?
Here's a word of advice. If you didn't know already, Sankey, best, most powerful man Does a hell of a job. I've always been told never, ever, ever get on his bad side.
Who, Sankey?
He holds grudges.
Fuck yeah, bro. Look, if there's one thing, I mean, I love reading biographies and shit. If there's one thing that you learn over time, these great men, that's what they all do. And they are vindictive. It's like, okay, so I loved the FDR biography. I think it's called FDR that I read a few years back. And what I was kind of stunned by is politically, ideologically, him and Donald Trump would see diametrically opposed, right? And that's for various reasons, whatever. I don't give a shit about any of that. But in terms of the strongman personality and the if you're in with me, you're in. But if you're against me, you're dead. Stacking the courts, doing all these sorts, like it was shocking. I found to be like the common, and that's not just those two. It's all these great men throughout history, and Sankey would fall into the college football version of a great man. So, yeah, I could absolutely see that being the case. I mean, you stand around him, Mike, and you feel the power radiating off of him.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, I think he's a hell of a guy. I think he's done a tremendous job. I think he's the best. He saved football in 2020. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's not enough kind things I could say about him, but oh boy, I can't believe Kirby did that to his face.
So there you go, guys. Here it is, your Santa SEC naughty and nice list, courtesy of T-Bob and SEC Mike. Of course, Mike, host of that SEC podcast. Excellent podcast. Mike, you're the man, dude. I've kept you so long. Thank you so much. Check this out. This is pretty cool. I'm putting, and now this is an ad read, Mike, but I think you're going to appreciate this. Okay.
Nice.
So
is this what I'm getting for coming on?
Fuck. That would have been nice. No, that would have been nice. Right. But we now do commercials for Oxia Time. Okay. These are, it's a watch company, official watch company of the college football playoffs, official watch company of the Heisman ceremony. But These are limited edition playoff watches. They're only making 100 each. And these are for the teams that made the playoff. Mike, they're on sale right now. They just
Tennessee, look at that.
Look at that, bro. Look at that. You get the orange band, the orange face. They're super high quality. They're heirloom quality. Like if they're Swiss watches, if you know watches, you'll appreciate that. But yeah, man. So these are again only 100 of each design. So if your team is in here, Georgia fans, look at that. You go blackface, whiteface. Don't go blackface.
One problem though for Axia.
Yeah.
Shout out Bill Valentine. Where's the Alabama one? Oh wait,
hold on. Let me look. No, it's got to be around here somewhere, Mike. Hold on. Let me. Oh wait. No, I see Arizona State. Wait, I see SMU. Wait, hold on now. I see SMU. Look at the Oregon's pretty nice. Where's Alabama?
Those are great though.
Yeah, I agree. The SMU ones actually are pretty clean looking. That blue and red with the red band. And I mean, $900 for an SMU fan. What is that? They wipe their ass with that. Oxia may actually need to come up with a $100,000 version just so an SMU fan will be enticed to buy. Again, guys, that is oxiatime.com, AXIA. Link is in the description. If you enjoy the show, please support those who support us. Remember, Oxia took a chance with us, and they didn't want any content control. Nothing. Okay. All the craziness, all that shit, they were into it. They just wanted to get the word out there about one of the best kept secrets in all of college football, and that is Oxia. So go ahead and get your watches today. Mike, thank you for all of this, man. I owe you 2, 3, 4 shows, however many you need, man. You're the man. Stuck with you the whole hour. I did not plan to do this to you, but I love you and I have so much fun talking to you. I'll be texting you about the 12-team movie bracket and who we should put in.
Absolutely. And but just a quick thing to go out on. I was on Feinbaum last week. Go check it out. We put it on the YouTube channel. But the Feinbaum producers, he's a hell of a guy, Danny Brams. He always asks me, like, who should we get on? Anybody that you don't see that we have on. And I said, how about my man T-Bob?
Yeah.
And he said, wait, we've had him one time. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. He told me, what was it? The Chris Collinsworth slide in. And he said, no. He did the chair swivel.
It was a swivel. No. I started backwards. I asked the producer ahead of time if they'd be into it. I started backwards. I might have had a Mandalorian helmet on, or maybe I put it on at the end, and I flipped around, and I've started to have a panic attack because the second I did it, I could tell Feinbaum was pissed. Like he was like, I mean, he's a man that looks maybe not so pleased to begin with all the time, and he looked displeased. I was like, shit. So he remembered the swivel. That's not a good sign, Mike.
But I think they'll have you back on based on that conversation I had with
Thank you, Mike. You're the man. You take
always trying to help others. You know what?
He's the man. Look at, I mean, that Christmas hat's not just for show, guys. Shout out SEC Mike, legend. Love you, bud.
Take care. Thanks for having me.
All right, listen to that SEC podcast. By the way, so it's not just playoff watches. They do have some licenses as well. Actually, if you are an LSU fan, here's the LSU watch. Pretty beautiful looking right there. You go here, timepiece. Oh, wait, hold on. What am I looking for? Where did I find this a second ago? Let's say schools, university. And so you have LSU, Maryland, Michigan, Penn State, Rutgers, UConn, more on the way. And then, of course, we have the playoff watches as well. So axia.com. I thought the spin around in the chair was going to be funny. Okay, guys? I asked the producer ahead of time, and they said yes. No, guys, Aaron's on vacation. He's in Nassau, Bahamas. So thank you all for hanging out with us today. We love you. We'll be back Thursday with a brand new episode of Snap, so be on the lookout for that. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we will catch you then. Bye, guys. Wait, actually, I'm fucking pumped for Skeleton Crew tonight. I'm not going to do a 30-minute thing on it today, but I'm excited for Skeleton Crew tonight. CHS 53. I love you, T-Bob. That shot at Tony V getting lucky was out of pocket, brother. He's just standard. I know. And my shot at Tony V is just out of anger and jealousy because I used to love to make fun of Tennessee for not having a ring, and Tony V ruined that. So, that's all it is, guys. Somebody with I don't know if it's Japanese, Korean, Chinese, but some Asian lettering says goodbye, handsome. That's very kind. You've made my day. Thank you. Goodbye to you as well, my friend. We'll see you on the next episode of Snaps.